I had the pleasure of reviewing the original Google Pixel way back when, and I say pleasure specifically because despite a couple of gripes, the Pixel was just a joy to generally use. Now 2 years later, we're on the Google Pixel 3 XL. The first thing you'll notice about the Pixel 3 XL is the screen. A modest 6.3-inch OLED display with a resolution of 2960 by 1440. The notch at the top has been a contentious point for some because of its size, though this apparently stops being noticeable the more you use it. Swings and roundabouts, I suppose. There are some interesting, if a bit weird, features built in. Now Playing will detect when a song is playing around you and then display the information on the lock screen. One really useful inclusion is the well-being feature. It provides ways for you to limit your usage based on how you use the phone to maximise the battery. The last feature I'll mention, which has been across all the Pixel models, is the unlimited cloud backup. And this is a saving grace because there is no SD card support in the Pixel, but if you're one to constantly run out of space, then the Pixel has you covered. You can store unlimited photos and videos in full quality in Drive. Now continuing with Google Pixel news, the camera has received an update across all Pixel models with a new feature, night sight. Now this is quite hard to explain, but night sight isn't just longer exposure. Normally a long exposure image requires the camera to be completely stable, however the Pixel separates the exposure through bursts and essentially compiles the information. But don't take that explanation as an exact. I'm not completely certain as to how it works. Incidentally, I should mention that I have to give credit to The Verge here because their article provides these terrific side-by-side comparisons, which makes what I'm trying to explain here far more easier. What I can say is that the result doesn't just increase the brightness. Taking images in the dark is now viable, with proper separation between light and dark and colour, and night sight also clears up a lot of the visual noise for a far crisper image. The results aren't 100% perfect. This image, for example, the night sight version doesn't exactly look like it was taken in the dark. That was the toss-up between having the image be authentic or detailed, and obviously Google have opted for the detail. It is definitely an impressive feature though, and though it can't replicate a professional photography setup for low light pictures, the fact that this feature can show this much definition and detail in darkness is one hell of a step up from standard phone cameras. And finally, I want to touch on the Motorola One. I've looked at a lot of budget phones in these videos, and for the most part they tend to impress me. I've never been one for some of the more lavish features of the flagship phones, so a simpler and cheaper alternative is always more appealing for me personally. But the Motorola One is cheaper in the wrong places. It looks great, I must stress, but aesthetics only get you so far. For one, the screen, 5.9 inches, and it is quite tall, which is great, but it has a resolution of 1520 by 720, not even full HD, and given that the screen is tall, that fact is noticeable. The CPU is an 8-core Cortex A53, which is showing its age, and the battery is just 3000 mAh. I have to stress that the Motorola One isn't an awful device, but I had to mention it in this video because there are much better budget options available even within the Motorola line. If you're buying or selling, whether that be films, games, tech or phones, don't forget to check out the website at webuy.com.